Hi, everybody. How are you doing? I am just putting a little tiny information in the comments here for you, checking those out and sharing this post, and then we're going to jump in and get started. Okay, so hi, everybody. I'm Dana. I'm so excited to be here with you today. I hope you will please just jump in and put your questions in the comments because big part of what I'm here for today is to answer your questions, of course. So I am Dana Lavoie. I am an acupuncturist and herbalist specializing in menopause. I help women use customized Chinese herbs supported by the best diet and lifestyle for their hormones to feel absolutely great during and after menopause. Hey, Jane from Ventura. But to do it naturally and by making their bodies stronger. Okay, now I gotta tell you that just what's going on with me this week because it's such an exciting week for me. I have an online program that opens just a few times a year on using herbs for menopause that matches you up with the exact customized herbs that are just right for you and that change with you over time. And enrollment is open right now. I have had so much fun welcoming all the new students into the course recently and into the special students only group where I work with you all for 12 weeks straight. So if you're the least bit interested in that, be sure to check it out before enrollment closes. May 31st is the last day. And there is a special going on right now. If you join that group today or tomorrow, you are going to get a very special one-on-one strategy session with me. So the details are on the Herbs course page. I'm going to put a link in the comments. If you have questions, if you're the least bit curious, be sure and check out this page. Contact me. You can chat with me one-on-one. We can figure out if it's the right match. Just don't miss out before enrollment closes because there's nothing else like it, and it's amazing for the old menopause. But today, one of the things I wanted to talk about is those pesky hot flashes. Hey, Phyllis from Florida. You guys put your questions in there too. I want to talk about those pesky hot flashes. Now, not all women with hot flashes get this. Like some women get hot flashes and then they last for a couple of years and then they go away. But some women get these hot flashes that never quit, right? 10, 20, 30 years still having hot flashes. It's not unusual. It doesn't mean you're sick, but it's not really normal. It's not what your body was designed for. It means something is a little bit out of balance. And it can be kind of resistant to a lot of traditional treatments, but Chinese medicine has wonderful ways to approach this. And I wanted to talk about those today, give you a little insight into how it works. But like I said, I'm also here to answer your questions, so please feel free to put them in the comments. Questions about anything. And if you're watching the replay, same thing. Put your questions in the comments and I'll come back and try to answer those for you. So, when your hot flashes do not stop at the end of menopause, and first of all, let me just say that your body was designed to go through menopause with mild discomforts only. A little warm here and there, but not the boiling, crazy hot flashes. If you're having the boiling, crazy hot flashes at any point, it's just a sign things are a little out of balance, and that's exactly what I can help you with to dial it right down to very mild. That's exactly what I do. Um, but I'm talking today about the hot flashes that just go on and on and on and on and on, 10 years past menopause, 15 years past menopause. So, why do these happen? And I did publish a blog post on this exact topic earlier this week, but I like to do these live videos and kind of dive deeper and answer your questions about the same topic. So, there's a couple of main reasons why these tend to happen in Chinese medicine. I'm just checking my notes to make sure I don't miss anything. And one thing I said in the blog about these types of hot flashes is when a woman comes to see me and she's got these lingering hot flashes, inside, I don't say this to her out loud, right? But inside, I'm like, oh, goody, we get to work on this. And the reason is because these usually respond so well to Chinese medicine when they've been like really, really hard for this person to get a handle on before. And part of the reason is that during perimenopause and the whole menopausal transition, your hormones are actively changing, right? They're going from your fertile levels to your postmenopausal levels, and they're like actively changing. And every time while they're changing, they get a little bit out of balance with each other, you can have discomforts. And you can go in with herbs, you can correct, the imbalance, get relief, and the next thing you know, they changed again. So it's kind of like trying to hit a moving target, and it often takes a lot of ongoing sort of fine tuning to keep comfortable. But after menopause, right, your hormones get where they're going and they stabilize again. Now, after they have stabilized at those postmenopausal levels, there can be some issues here, but they are just much more stable. So if they are imbalanced in some way, we can help correct that. And then once it's corrected, it tends to stay that way because it's just not changing so much. So because it's stable, you could also say it's stuck. So if it's stuck out of balance, it's likely to stay that way unless you do something about it, which is why, oh, two voices playing in the video. Oh my goodness, what's the deal with that? Is anyone else hearing two voices playing in the video? What's up with that? Let me check my preferences. If anyone else, Phyllis or Jane, if anyone else who's on live could let me know, are you hearing two voices playing in the video? I really appreciate you letting me know, Mary, because this is going to be way less fun. And I'm just going to check my settings for a second to see if I can fix that. So I'm just going to check my microphone settings here and see what's going on. Anyone else hearing? No, Phyllis says she's only hearing one. Okay, so if anyone else is hearing two voices, let me know. Otherwise, Mary, just double check your settings as well. Make sure you don't have it open in two windows or something like that. And if anyone else could let me know if they hear one or two voices, I would appreciate that because I don't know where. Oh, she says it's okay now. Okay, good. I think we're okay on the sound. If anything gets funky, if you can't see me or hear me or anything, definitely, or I have lipstick on my teeth, let me know, okay? But what I was saying is that once your hormones stabilize post-menopause, if they're out of balance and you're having hot flashes and you don't do anything, they're likely for those hot flashes to keep going because stable also means kind of stuck. They're not that likely to correct on their own. But it also means if we go in and help correct them, they're going to then stay corrected because they're stable. So that's one of the reasons I really like working with these. Oh, Mary says that the audio is good. I'm so glad. Thank you for letting me know. That makes me feel good. So the most typical reasons in Chinese medicine where you get into a situation with those postmenopausal hormone levels where you're having those lingering hot flashes, there's a couple of main reasons. The first one is what we call in Chinese medicine, your water energy and your fire energy are out of balance, but they pretty much equate to your male and female hormones. So what happens is your hormones stabilize after menopause, and I'm just going to check that you can see my hands on the screen. Yeah. So you've got your water and your fire. Okay, you want them to be even. If you have too much fire, you're going to feel hot. If you have not enough fire, you're going to feel cold. If you have not enough water, you're going to feel hot because you have more fire than water. Okay. Anytime you have more fire than water, you're going to feel hot. This is what tends to happen post-menopause. What we need to do is build up your water energy till it equals your fire energy, and then the hot flashes will resolve. So that is the first thing that commonly happens post-menopause. And then the second thing that commonly happens, there's three actually. The second thing that commonly happens post-menopause is your hormones stabilize. And it's not like your water is so low. Like it could be that none of your hormones are really too low. They're all in the acceptable range, but they're not even with each other. Like within the acceptable range, they're just like one notch out of whack. Okay. And the ratio is off. And so your body is designed to look at this and say, oh, bring this one up a little and this one down a little. But sometimes that doesn't work. That message doesn't go out or that message doesn't go through. And that's something that Chinese medicine and the herbs can really help with, helping your endocrine system send out those right messages, helping your liver function to deliver the results of those messages, to just help your body make that adjustment and bring things back into balance. And that one is usually one of the easiest adjustments and really, really stays stable after you adjust it. So it's like these women have hot flashes for 15 years, do a little tweak, and boom, they feel so much better. So I love working with that one. And there are a third type of hot flashes that sometimes happen that don't respond to typical treatment. And they're not so much just the fire in the water. They actually have to do with something called dampness that needs to be resolved. Sometimes, well, for almost all women, when we go through menopause and our hormone levels drop, our digestive function decreases a bit. We tend to have less stomach acid, less pancreatic enzymes, less variety of flora living in our gut that helps us digest things. So sometimes when the digestion isn't burning really cleanly, we get an accumulation of dampness, and this can cause weird lingering hot flashes too. So usually between those three things, we can find a solution. Whereas once you're postmenopause, if you have one of those things going on and you don't give your body a little help fixing it, once it's stabilized like that, it can just go on and on and on and on and on. So let me check my notes and see what else I wanted to say. And if you guys have any questions, any questions about your hormones or menopause, you can ask me anything. I see you guys on there, so put your questions in the chat. Anything about postmenopause, about during menopause, about premenopause. Okay, so let me check my notes. Oh yeah, so I also wanted to say that in my herbs course, the one that is open for just a few more students to enroll just until May 31st, and then work with me for 12 weeks straight on everything about herbs and your hormones. There is a whole huge section on caring for your hormones after menopause. A lot of herbalists, it's like, okay, when you're having hot flashes, you treat that, and when the hot flashes go away, you're done. But because of my background as a tonic herbalist, there's so much more to it than that. And it's really all about supporting your hormones after menopause, keeping them high enough, keeping your anti-aging energies supported. There's a whole branch of Chinese medicine for this. And that's where you're going to find the formulas to help protect your body against things like joint degeneration and arthritis and degeneration of your eyesight and brain function and cardiovascular function and the strength of your bones. Not to mention, this is where you find a lot of the beauty formulas for skin and hair, right? To keep you looking, not only feeling younger, but looking formula. This is like a whole part of Chinese medicine, these longevity formulas. They're so wonderful. And so I love working with women like on that. And like for something like dry eyes, for example, tends to happen after menopause, right? Or vaginal dryness, or all of these things that can happen. I absolutely love working with women on this powerful, vital aging with the Chinese longevity formulas. It's so fun. It's a huge part of what's in my course. And so that's just part of helping you feel great post-menopause. The lingering hot flashes is one thing that can go a little out of balance, but there are others for sure. Okay. So I wanted to mention that. And yeah, a lot of in Chinese medicine, those longevity formulas, what they really do, they increase your Jing energies, which can definitely be somewhat equated to your hormone levels in Western medicine, because there's so many studies done showing if you can keep your hormone levels just a bit higher in those years after menopause, it's incredibly protective for your health. And I also wanted to just talk a little bit about the immune system and that how that ties in with your female hormones, because we're still got this COVID thing, especially now when people are starting to go back to work and to shopping. It's like all of a sudden, without as much quarantine, we're kind of exposed more. And so it is a great time to support your immune system. And one of the things I created because of COVID is a mini course on how to use herbs for your immune system. And everyone who enrolls in my course until May 31st, this is very time limited, is going to get this other mini course for free. And what it is 3 separate, very customizable customizable herbal protocols. And one is what I call adaptogenic immune support. So it's support for your immune system that you use long term when you're not sick. So just in a protective way to get your immune system rested and tuned up and ready to respond incredibly powerfully and efficiently if a challenge were to come along. And these are things that are safe to use long term, not immune system stimulants, but adaptogenic immune support is again a whole part of Chinese medicine dedicated to this. I have a this happened a lot, but I had a client just last year who he was actually the father of one of my clients, and he was a school teacher. And every year said, I always get sick twice. You could put it on the calendar between the start of the school year and Christmas break. I said, oh, let me give you some herbs for that. I put him on some adaptogenic immune support, and he went the whole, most of the school year till they shut the schools down without getting sick even once. It was the first time that it happened in years and years and years. So it's just amazing stuff. It really, really works. I've seen it with myself. And then the second part is all about what to take if you get that scratchy throat, like you're fighting something off, because most Western medicine doesn't work very well on virus, but plant medicine is fantastic for this. So I have special protocols that I use that work so much of the time that you just use for a few days when you're fighting something off, and usually you just don't get sick. It's amazing. And then the third part is if you were to get a respiratory infection, incredible support for each stage of the infection and the recovery. So that is all included, and it's amazing. So Mary says, what are the Chinese medicines for pre-menopause? I still get my period, but I find before them, I will wake up very warm for about 3 nights or so and also very tired. Okay, so Mary, this is one of the things I tell women to look out for when you're wondering if you're in perimenopause, which is the years your hormones have started to change, but you're still having your period. So night sweats or heat at night during PMS, okay, that is a very common sign of perimenopause. So that's just right on track. So usually this is caused by your hormones starting to decline, especially your watery essence hormones, especially tends to be progesterone is the one that goes down first, and then estrogen is next, so your female hormones. So during this part of the menopausal transition, early perimenopause, what I like to do with Chinese herbs, and by the way, this is the best time to start using herbs. Not only will it help with discomforts you're feeling now, it will help prevent severe discomforts. Like it will help make your hot flashes you're going to have 5 years from now, it will make them much milder. So what you want to do is, like I said, when you're at your most fertile, like 18, 22, your hormones are at their highest levels. Then during menopause, they go down and they end up down here. Well, imagine if before menopause, some of your hormones were already down and then they're going to drop. Well, they're going to end up dropping too low. So in that early part of perimenopause, what you want to do is you want to support all your hormone levels, especially progesterone, and bring them all the way up. You want to top off those levels so they are all fully replenished before they start to really drop and change fast. So another thing this is good for is helping your cycle just feel like normal, like it did when you were in your 20s. It's going to make your cycle feel more normal. I also include things in these herbal protocols for early perimenopause. Like I said, support progesterone, replenish all your energy reserves, which is like topping off your hormone levels, but also really making sure to harmonize PMS and your cycle, because you can get all different kinds of PMS symptoms that can get worse during perimenopause, and you can experience increased bleeding. So topping off progesterone, harmonizing the cycle, managing PMS, and helping your body to keep good control of bleeding, that's the focus. And this will have a secondary function of sort of extending fertility, right? Because you're bringing your hormone levels up as high as you can for as long as possible. So that's the approach early in menopause. And it means when you go into menopause, your hormones are so supported that none of them tend to drop too low or too fast, which, like I said, tends to set you up for a much milder menopause. So Mary, if that did not answer your questions, let me know. But that what I was talking about would be really fantastic for that heat at night. That's just the first sign, heat at night during PMS. So when you see that resolve and become very mild, you're like, oh, good, I got it back in balance. And then if something else were to crop up, you could work on that. And as long as you keep any discomfort that crops up very mild, you know your hormones are in great shape. That's how it works. And Phyllis says, I'm postmenopausal and my joints are so stiff and painful. It disturbs my sleep and it leads to irritability, throwing me off all day. Is this normal? So, Phyllis, I'm not going to say it's abnormal, like something is wrong with you that's out of the norm, because a lot of people, women and men, but a lot of women will experience this kind of thing as a sign of aging, right? So joint stiffness and pain, like think who gets arthritis, it's like older people, right? So it's a sign of aging. But the way that it works in Chinese medicine is these longevity formulas I was talking about that support your hormone levels after menopause, they do more than that, right? So in my herbs course, there is a special section called structural support. And it's like a lot of the formulas that are used by the Shaolin monks, right, to keep their bodies and their joints and their bones so healthy and so strong. So what this is going to do is going to help so if you're postmenopausal, but I mean, I'm assuming you are not 90 years old, everybody gets a little bit of arthritis as they get older, but if you're like recently postmenopause, right, you should still be feeling really good in your joints, right? So this means that you're having a sign of aging, your joint pain and stiffness, you are having that earlier than you really should in Chinese medicine, earlier than what your body was designed for. So it's like an early sign of aging, a premature sign of aging. And in Chinese medicine, what that means is some of your energy levels or your hormone levels dropped too low, right? So after menopause, your hormone levels are lower than they used to be, but in some women, they drop almost to zero. And in Chinese medicine, we see this as your yin and yang jing, your anti-aging energies have dropped too low. You want to bring them back up, and then all your signs of aging are going to be put off many more years or become much more mild. But also, if you're having a lot of pain and stiffness, one thing that could be happening is one of the energies that can drop down, your watery energy, one of the things that it does is it lubricates your joints, right? Like the fluid in your joints. And you could think of your tendons and your muscles almost like sponges. When they're filled with water, they're very pliable. But if they become dry, they become very hard and stiff and brittle. So if you don't have enough of your watery energies, it's kind of like your female hormones, right? You get in Chinese medicine what we call dry tendons, and things become tighter and stiffer, and it can contribute to things like frozen shoulder and less mobility and stiffness and increased, tendinitis and less fluid in the joints. So that's one way where it can directly affect your joints. But another thing that you would want to look at, Phyllis, would be inflammation, because sometimes when you're having a lot of pain like that, in Chinese medicine, it means you have energy traffic jams. So not only might your energy levels be low, they could be not flowing freely and moving freely. Because if you have pain, your energy is not moving freely. So you would want to look at freeing up those traffic jams, which is wonderful for different kinds of pain. And that would equate in Western medicine to things that also help with decreasing inflammation levels through your whole body, which is very protective against arthritis and heart disease and lots of things. So the herbs for you would be a combination of supporting your anti-aging energies and decreasing energy traffic jams and helping to modulate inflammation levels. And then that could go a really, really long way in terms of giving you relief from the pain and stiffness that you're experiencing. And I'd love to have you give it a try. If you have any questions, Phyllis, you can check out I will put this in here, not only can you join the herbs course until May 31st, but if you join today or tomorrow, I have a special going on where you will be entered in a strategy call with me. It's a small, I'm going to do very small groups where each person will get a chance to be in the hot seat and talk with me about their individual situation, and we will talk strategy, herbal strategy, to make sure you get the maximum benefit. And so if you join today or tomorrow, you get that for free. And you can check out all, I'm typing, you guys, I'll be right back. You can check out all the information at this link, but if some of you are curious about, if you're the least bit curious, go check it out. You can watch a video on that page. You can see sneak peek behind the scenes. You can take a little quiz to see if it's right for you. You can read a ton of frequently asked questions and the answers, but there's also an icon on that page where you can contact me. So if there's anyone out there and I know Chinese herbs are a little like unfamiliar to some people. And so if you're just like, I just don't know if it's right for me, first of all, there's a money back guarantee. But second of all, I would be happy to hop on a chat one-on-one with you so we could talk. I don't want you in the program if it's not right for you. I really don't. But I'd love to hop on a call with you so we could chat and see if it's the right match, because if it is, there's nothing else like it out there, and the results you can get are just incredible, not just for menopause discomforts, but for having that post-menopause body and energy and life that you really want. Mary says, my brother will be 60 soon, but he has a lot of joint pain. Would these herbs help him? So Mary, yeah, so obviously Chinese medicine works for men and women both. And like women tend to lose their watery essence more easily as they get older. Men tend to lose their fiery essence more easily as they get older. But you could both have a genetic predisposition towards something like arthritis or joint degeneration or certain types of inflammation. So if he were to get on a customized herbal program, a lot of the herbs might be the same as what would be recommended, but the program itself is specifically focusing on the formulas that are balanced for women. Now, he could take them and they're generally very, very safe, and he could still get a ton of structural support. But it's possible that a few little tweaks to customize them even more for him might be beneficial. But there's a lot of crossover, and the herbs that are for these sort of like strengthening anti-aging types of herbs tend to be very safe. And there's a tons of information about making sure that they're safe for you in the course. So yeah, there would be some crossover, but it would be specialized, especially balanced for women, for women's bodies and women's hormones. Okay, who else has a question? I know that you guys have some kind of question about herbs, or if they work or how they work, or something that's going on with your hormones that you're a little bit confused about. Put them in the comments while I check my notes about what else I wanted to talk to you about. Okay. Oh yeah, I was gonna mention that I talked a little bit about the immune support mini course that's included for anyone who enrolls in the herbs course, but also the course as it is right now, it's a completely new version of the course. It comes with 12 weeks of live support, working closely with me in a private group, which is so amazing. And there's all these PDF downloads I created, like a ton of them, that they guide you every step of the way. Both of those are all new. Plus there is entire online herbal pharmacy that comes with the course. So the online pharmacy, the PDF downloads, and the 12 weeks of live support were not in the course, the last version of the course. It still worked great, but it's so much better now. So I was planning to raise the price quite a bit. But because this happened right in the middle of COVID, I decided to put that off till next time. So the next time I open for the course for enrollment later in the year, there's going to be quite a bit of a price increase to be able to get that live support with me and stuff. So this is an incredible opportunity to join right now, get lifetime access to the course, get the 12 weeks of live support and the COVID immune support, all included for free at the old course price. I'm just never going to offer it at this price again. So if you are interested, it is a great time to join. Does skin become more sensitive? Example in the face during menopause. So I would say that it's certainly possible. Your skin, your hair, the texture can change a lot. The most common thing that happens in menopause, and it usually happens a little bit later in the menopausal transition when estrogen starts to drop, is that your skin, like all of a sudden, seems more sort of like sagging and less plump and drier and kind of older. Like all of a sudden your skin looks older and drier and less plump. And again, that is one of those things. It's from the hormone levels dropping. So if you can keep those hormone levels higher post menopause, you can keep your skin looking younger. Yay. There's actually a ton of beauty formulas in the Chinese longevity formulas. So, but sensitivity is a little bit more likely to be something else. So if it's just sensitivity, one of the things that happens when, like I said, for women, their watery energy, their female hormones tend to drop down and need support. When your watery energy, your female hormones are a little bit too low, one of the things that can happen is heat. Think fire. Fire is uncontrolled, redness, inflammation, things that rush up. So, especially if it's like the skin on your face, right? So, this can be caused by not having enough watery energy because watery energy is cooling, calming, grounding, moisturizing, and soothing. Right? So if you don't have enough of it, a lot of things get on a hair trigger. Your mood can get on a hair trigger, your heat can get on a hair trigger, your flushing can get on a hair trigger, but any kind of redness, irritation, or sensitivity can get on a hair trigger. Even your immune system can get on a hair trigger because the grounding, stabilizing energy that keeps everything from overreacting is just not there. You don't have that reservoir of calm energy, right? So sensitivity would more likely be that sort of heat and dryness and things being on a hair trigger where if you moisturize with that watery energy from the inside out, it's going to soothe and calm the skin. So that would be my guess if it's more sensitivity than like sudden sagging or dryness. I've had quite a lot of women. I had one woman especially who had this incredible skin rash that happened when she was right in menopause. It happened over her whole body and it was really angry and it was really uncomfortable. And it helped a little bit when she went off dairy. I mean, she had it for months. She did so many things to try and get rid of it, and some dietary changes did help. So sometimes when you have skin rashes, you need to look at your digestive health. Sometimes our digestive health needs extra support during menopause, or we develop new food allergies. So that would be something to look at. But she struggled with this rash for so long until we finally got, she went on some custom herbs. We got the hormones balanced out, and she did find one or two food allergies, and it just like it completely went away. But it was a nasty one. So yeah, that redness, irritation, inflammation, that can easily happen when your hormones are out of balance. And the lack of watery energy is kind of why it tends to go in that red, irritated, reacting easily to things direction. So, Angela, I hope that answers your question. Who else has a question or something going on and you're like, is this related to menopause? Is this related to aging? Is this just because of my genetics? Is there anything I can really do about it? What's the Chinese medicine approach to something? Anybody have another question? Because I'm here for you guys right now. We've still got a little time. So if you have some questions, anything at all, put it in the comments. Otherwise, I have talked about most of the things I wanted to talk about. You're welcome, Angela. Like I said, there was a blog that came out earlier this week on those sort of lingering hot flashes, so you can read more about that there. Mary says, how do you take herbs? So in my herbs course, I have a whole section on this because some women come into it and they're already like super experienced with taking herbs and supplements, so they can skip over that lesson. But I have a whole lesson on that because you have a choice, and everything in there, I want you to customize it for your lifestyle, for your preferences, because if your herbs are easy to take, you're much more likely to take them regularly, and then you're going to get more benefit. So herbs that I use the most with my clients in my course come either in the form of a powder, and it's not a ground up herb. It's what's called a spray dried powder. So it's very concentrated and very bioavailable. They actually cook the herbs into a concentrated tea and then dry the tea into these little granules. So the herbs are already extracted and very easy to absorb into your system. So with a powder, what you would do is you would put it in a smoothie or a latte. I have a recipe for my herbal latte where I put my herbs with some tea and some, coconut butter and collagen peptides, and I whip it up in the blender, and it's so delicious. So you can put it in a coffee or tea latte, a smoothie. You could stir it into some chocolate pudding if you don't like the taste of it, or applesauce, or you could just make it into a tea. So that's one option. Another option that's really popular is tinctures, which is a liquid. About 90% of the formulas I use in the program come in a tincture. I like the tinctures because they're so easy. You can put them in tea, in a smoothie, in a latte, in your mouth, in a little water. It's like and they also have like the least impact on your digestive system in some ways because they just absorb so easily. But they also all come in tablets or capsules. So you would choose if you want to do a tablet or a capsule, you'd have your little 2 tablets and you'd swallow them down with some water twice a day for each formula, right? So that would be how to take them. Or if it's a powder or a liquid, you can decide what you want to dissolve it in and then drink it down or eat it down. Mary says, I do smoothies. I love smoothies. You guys, I don't know if you've looked on my website. I have a free download you can get on my smoothie recipe, and it's actually 4 or 5 different variations on the same recipe. I'm really big on smoothies, and I love putting herbs in my smoothies. I either blend them right in or I stir them in after they're made. And I also really like doing it's sort of between a smoothie and a latte with tea and, other things in there. And that's how I like to take my herbs. So smoothies, you'd be all set. That would be easy. And you can put the herbs in the whole smoothie, the powder or the tincture, or sometimes what I'll do, depending on which herbs I'm taking, some of them taste so good. If for any reason I don't like the way they taste, once you have your smoothie done, you just take a little bit of your smoothie, like maybe a quarter cup, or like a little half a cup, and you mix your herbs, tinctures or powders into that little bit, and you just drink it down in a couple of sips, and it tastes pretty okay, but it doesn't flavor your whole smoothie. Or you can put it in the whole smoothie, just depending on how you like the taste. But the smoothies make it really easy to dissolve and kind of hide the flavor of the powders or the tinctures. Phyllis says, what about cellulite and herbs? So cellulite is one of those things, honestly, you're likely to have a little bit more of it at 65 than at 16, and some of that is inevitable. But I would say that, you should be able to have healthy, strong muscles and skin, and everything should be looking really, really good as long as your anti-aging energies are supported, your liver function is working really well. So you are detoxifying really well. A lot of cellulite in Chinese medicine is an accumulation. It's kind of like that dampness that I talked about. If your digestive power becomes weak and you're not burning things cleanly and digesting them fully, you get this sort of gunk that's just sitting around in your system and it's getting stuck. It's not moving. Your energy's getting stuck. It's not moving cleanly. It's not detoxifying everything you don't need anymore, okay? And that's how you start to get these lumps and bumps and cellulites and accumulation. And so by maximizing detoxification and liver function and digestive power, which are both things that I work a lot on in my course with women, more for women who need it. It's like something you can add on at any time. That's going to keep the cellulite to a minimum. There might be a tiny bit. You're not going to be quite as toned, like I said, as you were when you were 16. But if there's a lot of it, then it means you have excess accumulation. Something's not moving well, or something's not detoxifying well, or you have dampness in your system from a weak digestion. So it'll take a little while, but over time, it can really help to transform. Angela says smoothies can help mask flavors and you can pack in many good things. I totally agree. That's one of the reasons I love to recommend smoothies for menopause, because you can put in extra servings of vegetables and fruits, because you have to have a big enough percentage in your diet each day of vegetables and fruits, because they're cooling anti-inflammatory foods. And sometimes it can be hard to get enough servings. Well, have a smoothie. There's like 4 servings and it didn't seem like anything. Plus, you can put your menopause superfoods in your smoothie, right? Your healthy fats and your superfoods. Like, you can put so much good stuff in the smoothies and it's like done in one. So I'm a huge fan of the smoothies. And there's so many different kinds. One thing I will say, I have a little pet peeve about smoothies from a Chinese medicine perspective, which is I'm not a big fan of frozen smoothies. In Chinese medicine, they're actually kind of a big no-no because they're frozen and they're really cold and they tend to weaken your digestive fire. So a lot of my smoothie recipes you'll find are room temperature or warm. So even if you're using frozen ingredients, combine it with a warm liquid to make your finished smoothie sort of like room temperature at least, so it's not cold or frozen, and that tends to help increase your metabolism and all kinds of great benefits. So there's my little Chinese medicine note on smoothies. Does anybody else have a question before I sign off? You can ask me anything. You can ask me about smoothies. All right, you guys. So, like I said, I'm Dana Lavoie. I'm an acupuncturist and herbalist. I have been studying Chinese medicine for over 20 years. I've been practicing for over 16 years. I specialize in women's health and in helping women feel amazing during and after menopause using customized Chinese herbs supported by the best diet and lifestyle for the hormones. And one of the most powerful ways that I can directly help is with my online program on finding the exact customized herbs that are just right for you, which you will do in my online program. I only open it for enrollment occasionally, and it happens to be open right now. So if you want to make a big, bold change in your health and get customized herbs on board, definitely, if you're even the least bit curious, be sure to check it out because it's only open through May 31st. And then I will be welcoming my new batch of students and working closely with them for 12 weeks of live support. And this is the last time I'm offering the course ever at this price. So it's a great time to get in. You get lifetime access. It's really an incredible opportunity. There's that immune mini course included for free. And if you're like, maybe I should do that, but I have no idea about Chinese herbs, just send me a message because I'd be happy to hop on a little quick call with you and we could figure out together if it would be right for you or not. There's definitely some people that it's not right for. I don't want you in the program if it's not right for you, but we could figure it out pretty easily together. So go on over to that page I put in the comments, the danalavoielac.com/herbs-course, or just go to my website and there's a link in the menu. Check it out, read the FAQ, take the little quiz, watch the video, and then just send me a message if you'd like to talk about it. But it's a really special opportunity. There's nothing else like it, and the results that you can create for yourself and your health and taking charge of your hormones, understanding your hormones, having something you can do every time a new hormonal discomfort or sign of aging crops up. I mean, that having that control is just so empowering, and that's what the course is for. Phyllis says, I am new to Chinese herbs. Yeah. So, I talk about them all the time. Sometimes I forget how much people don't know about Chinese herbs. So check out that page. But Phyllis, if you have any questions about, should you jump in the course while it's open for enrollment and start using Chinese herbs, send me a message on Facebook and we'll set up a little chat and we can talk one-on-one if you want. And I'd be happy to learn a little bit more about your situation to find out if it would be a good match for you or not. But if you are dealing with, I'm trying to remember who said what, with that level of joint pain, that is really already interfering with your life. It's a sign. It's your body telling you things are a little bit more out of balance than they should be, right? You should be feeling better than that right now. And the herbs can use that information to say, okay, well, this is what you need to rebalance that. So it does sound like your body is kind of saying, hello, can you give me a little help here? And so I'd love to see if the herbs would be the right solution for you. All right, anybody else have a question? before I hop off, and I'm going to be back, I think, the day after tomorrow. But when you go to that page, danalovelottlac.com/herbs dash course, there's a little icon actually on every page on my website. There's a little peachy pink colored contact us icon. And if you click that, you can send me a message and it will come directly to my personal inbox and I will get back to you. I would be more than happy to chat with you and to answer questions. So feel free to contact me directly if you want to have a one-on-one chat or it's something you don't want to share on Facebook. So sometimes the questions are a little personal. All right, you guys. Well, I have talked about those lingering hot flashes, which if you have them, man, I feel you. They are so annoying. And like I said, I kind of like them because they usually respond really well to Chinese medicine. But in any case, it's been so fun hanging out with you. I love answering all your questions. I'll be back this next few days. I'm going to be live on Facebook a bunch of times. And then usually it's once a week. And so you can always find me here and contact me if you have any questions. And I'll see you guys soon. I would love to introduce you to the world of Chinese herbs and how totally powerful they are. One of the things I talk about, you'll see it on that page if you go to that herbs course page, the Cleveland Clinic, right, which is one of the top hospitals in the United States. They have a Department of Chinese Herbal Medicine. And when you go on their website to the Department of Chinese Herbal Medicine and it says, you know, what kind of things are Chinese herbs good for? And they have a list of about like 8 or 10 things. Improve menopause symptoms is on that list. It's like in the top few things. And the reason they put it there is because they know the Chinese herbs are so freaking fantastic for menopause. I mean, they're just like amazing. It's why I have the course because it's like I feel like women in menopause need to be able to use herbs as a tool to take control and feel good. Like it's just a great match. And so I have a little screenshot of the Cleveland Clinic website on that page over there. It's really cool. So there's something herbalists know, but you guys, I know people don't know this. So that's why I would love to introduce you to the world of Chinese herbal medicine. So let me know if you have any questions. Replay viewers, contact me or put your questions in the comments or send me a message or on Facebook or send me a message through my website. And I'll be back in a couple of days. You guys, bye. Have a great afternoon.